In the last lesson, we saw general capabilities that AI is best at. Now, let's translate general capabilities into a specific project. For the first part, we narrowed your focus down to the general text-to-text task. In the last lesson, we further narrowed down your focus to 3 specific capabilities: summarizing, structuring data, and coding. In this lesson, we'll finally define your project. For your project, you first need to define the task. What will AI do for you? Then, define what the LLM will take in as input. Will it take in reviews, emails, essays? And finally, define what text the LLM will produce as output. Will it produce summaries, tables, bullet points? Let's see an example. Say I'm looking for a place to eat. Yummy Cafe has a low rating and I want to know why. My first reaction is to have AI summarize my reviews. Let's fill out the project template. Our task is to summarize reviews. Our input will be reviews, and our output will be a summary? That doesn't seem like a helpful definition, so let's be more specific. On the restaurant's webpage, I scroll through reviews with really low ratings. One person confused this place with its sister restaurant. Someone else complained about the order that dishes were served in. And the last review did not like the waitstaff's attitude. These are all valid concerns, but I personally only care about the food. So I want to filter out non-food reviews. Knowing this is my goal, let's now translate this into a concrete project. Back to our template. I would like to detect non-food critiques. The input is a restaurant review, and the output is true or false, whether or not the review deducts stars for non-food reasons. Now we're in business. This is how specific your project definition should be. However, we have one more component, the metric. At a high level, the metric tells you if AI's outputs are good. To start, your first metric will be, do I find the AI's outputs reasonable? Assess by hand first. Here's a review that complains about the order dishes were served in. We ask the AI, does this review deduct stars for non-food reasons? The AI makes a prediction, yes. Now, do I find yes reasonable? I do. The review is deducting stars for service, not food. The AI passes this first check. Here's another review that complains about the fish's freshness. We ask the AI, does this review deduct stars for non-food reasons? The AI makes a prediction. No. Do I find no reasonable? I do. This review deducted stars precisely for food reasons. The AI passes this second check. Here's a review that shows confusion about the restaurant's name. We ask the AI, does this review deduct stars for non-food reasons? The AI makes a prediction. No. Do I find no reasonable? This time, I don't. The review deducted stars for the restaurant's name, not the food. The AI fails this third check. Here is the AI's scorecard. We find the outputs reasonable 2 out of 3 times. So in conclusion, your first assessment is that the AI's outputs are mostly reasonable. However, the best metrics will quantify quality, so let's be more specific. Back to our scorecard, we found the AI correct 2 out of 3 times. So we say that the AI achieved 67% accuracy. Now, your metric is the percentage of reviews that the AI classifies correctly. Said more succinctly, our metric is model accuracy on reviews that we've labeled as true or false. True if the review deducted stars for non-food reasons. Now, we can take any AI and compute its accuracy on our task. Here is now our full project definition. We've added the metric, accuracy, for how accurately the AI predicts true or false when compared with your own labels on restaurant reviews. Let's do another example. Say you're organizing a hackathon, and after the online submission portal closes at the deadline, dozens of people email late entries to you. Your general goal is to organize late entries sent over email. More concretely, your task is to detect if an email is a hackathon entry. The input is an email. The output, whether or not the email is actually a hackathon submission. The metric is also accuracy. How many emails are correctly classified as entries or not? Now, using AI, we can generate a table of data, and voila, it's now much easier to determine which late submissions to accept at scale without having to read all 100 emails to find the hackathon entries. In summary, define the task, the input to your AI, the output of your AI, and the metric, which determines how good your model's outputs are. That concludes this lesson. In this lesson, we finally defined your project after scoping down, and that additionally concludes the first of 3 steps. You've now scoped your project, and we're ready to get started on it. You can access this URL for a copy of these slides and additional resources.